to November 1st, 2025. And we are at one cool spot. Don't get here very often, and the reason being is it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, which is always a great railroad spot, it seems. But cell service here is about this much on a scale of that much. So we are on satellite today. Now, as we pulled up, they just tied down the northbound train behind us here on the Atlanta North District at Control Point Long in Appleton, Tennessee. Not far from the Red Clay State Park area. Rich in history in this area. And this is a beautiful spot to railfan. There's a whole parking lot over on that side. There is a siding over there. A lot of times you'll see MOW equipment over there. Now yesterday, there were some cars with Hot Wheels that went through the defect detector below us. And they set cars off. Don't know for sure, but those cars over on my left, your right, might be the cars they set off with the issue. Don't know that for sure. For those of you that were with me yesterday, we had a little bit of something all day going on at different points, different places. Hot Wheels, heritage units coming and going, air pressure, and a -9 with no speedometer restricting the speed of the train. So we just had a little bit of everything yesterday. So today, we thought we'd just take a little time, wander around, catch a train here or there. It's been rather quiet on the NS scanner today, listen to the different activity here in the area. And if you've never tuned into the defect detector just south of us, right before Cohutta, right before you make the bend into Cohutta, where you can get some great sub sandwiches in that town at the Old Country General Store. So there's the defect detector. And as we were getting, because it takes extra time to get set up on a satellite, we had regs facing north, but we did not realize we had a southbound train. And literally just seconds after he went past, we got connected and we got live. So we just a bit more about this area, but we're just kind of out roaming around. Had a number of things a bit more about this area, but we're just kind of out roaming around. Had a number of things that I had to do this morning. Didn't get to go see the Somerville excursion take off. Tara is in town this weekend. Y'all know Tara. She is riding the Somerville Steam excursion today. That is, and boy, there is some good eating on that train. So, we are on Howardsville Road, Appleton, Tennessee, at Control Point Long. And we'll spin around here in a little bit. Basically, there are 3 tracks here. The track to my left and your right, closest to me, is track 2 on the Atlanta North District here. Middle track is track 1. Far track is the siding. You see some container cars back there on the siding. So that gives you a little bit of where we are. North, south, Ottawa, Bootleggers Crossing, and where the junction point is by the old spooky water tower for Knoxville West End, where Atlanta North District ends and becomes Knoxville West End and goes on into Chattanooga, over to the junction point where you either go up to C&O and TP northbound to Cincinnati, or on into the yard or the pass-through lines at the yard. So we're going to hang out here an hour or so. It's been very, very, very quiet on train traffic today, but we're going to try and catch one and just give you a little bit of an idea when you come to Chattanooga, Tennessee, some of the places to go. And I guess we better get to talking a little bit quick here. And I think we're going to make a couple changes here. So y'all put a seatbelt on. So don't go anywhere, but since this is live, you get to have all the adjustments with me as we adjust. All right. That is looking southbound here. And as we were talking about, they're on the right side. Our northbound train just was tied down about 20 minutes ago. The crew was just leaving, closing the hatch and shutting down the lead locomotive as we pulled up. Like I said, we've not been in any particular schedule today other than a slow schedule today. So that is looking southbound. If you were to continue at this point, you'd come to Cohutta, down to Austell and Atlanta. Here's a look at Howardsville Road. So if you come, it's not unusual that we see deer or what have you here, because like I said, we are kind of in the middle of nowhere. And it goes back into the woods there. So that's Howardsville Road. And that's basically going west. And then we continue. Howardsville Road as it goes across the crossing. Up the hill and basically east towards Red Clay State Park. There you see Production 6. And you hear, it is perfectly quiet out here. Not a sound, literally. It's just tranquility and peaceful. There we are working off the back of Production Unit 6 and all the equipment. And right there is how the signal is getting from me to you. And there's a cool adult toy. Everybody needs one of those in their driveway. And that is looking towards Chattanooga. And there is the signal indication indicating that the line stops here and track 2 is red. And obviously nothing's going to come on track 2 because that's where the train is behind us. Now over on the far side, those are the signal indications for track 1 and the siding. Don't know if you can tell it, but we have highball green on track 1 northbound here on the Atlanta North District line. So for the moment, just for the fun of it, there's a look to your north. And then I said here's the rest of the span, our crossing gates. And there is Howardsville Road crossing. And as you can imagine, it is dark out here. At night, there is not a single light anywhere. So when I tell you it gets dark out here, I am not kidding. I've always wondered why they don't put stripes on the edge of where the asphalt is. Because many times the asphalt section is narrower or close to narrow. And particularly if something's on an angle, if you're out here in the dark, making a mistake and going bloop bloop, and yes, your car is stuck. There's the derailer for the siding. And yesterday, if you go back to the video that we did, if I'm not mistaken, they discussed 3 cars that were involved that they mentioned for putting them off at a siding for a Hot Wheel issue at the defect detector. So, I don't know if those are the ones, but that's very possible. Those are the cars that had an issue that we listened about yesterday. So, I'm going to jump on the monitor. Our train on the left is tied down. Hello, Nate. How are you today, sir? Hope you're not getting any buffering now. Like I said, we are on satellite. Lucas, let me know if you're still having that problem. Yes, Nate, we're around the corner. And yes, we are having a little buffering issue. Let's see what we can do. That's Alabama Highway down there. And Gates and Lights and Bell are off. And we are now back to all red on both sides. As you can see, track 1 is red over red. And obviously, track 2 is still red over red. And I know you're experiencing some buffering, and I'm working on that. Technology and I always have an issue together. There's our train shut down, tied down, and totally quiet. Some cars over on the siding that we think are from yesterday. And that is looking back towards Cohutta, where we might venture off to here next in a little bit. As a matter of fact, I kind of think that is our next plan. All right, Nate, we're going to go ahead and end this show just because we are experiencing some buffering, etc. And in order for me to fix it, I have to be offline. So I'm going to hope you make it here before I leave since you go by this way. Maybe I'll see you as you come by. So everybody, this is Control Point Long. Want to just kind of, like I said, we're just out floating around a little bit, making a couple videos live before we go home and have some more at the house things to do. Excuse me. It is that Saturday things to do day. And boy, is there a list of them. Halloween was yesterday, and we had a fantastic day. So I said, I think we may try and go down to Cohutta here in a little bit. Not 100% sure. We're going to work on this buffering issue in the meantime. And in order to do that, I have to be off the live. So everybody, from the middle of Howardsville Road, woo! I'm a little close there. Get a chance to see it. Chattanooga, Dalton, Atlanta, here on the Atlanta North District. 3 tracks. Track 2, center one, track 1, far side siding. Everybody, thanks for being with me. And hey, I'll see you at the next crossing, hopefully yet today. And we plan to make it to TVRM tomorrow for the doubleheader steam on November 2nd of 2025. But weather looks like a question, so we'll kind of see how it goes. Thanks for being with me, and I'll see y'all soon.